I didn't expect my life to end up here. I'm not a man who made reckless choices. I paid every bill on time, kept my promises, and raised my kids with the kind of love that didn't need to be shouted. I worked hard. 45 years running a small furniture repair shop, the kind where you knew your customers by name and every scratch told a story. I buried my wife too early, kept her picture by the window, and learned to make toast and eggs without burning them. It wasn't much, but it was mine. My name is not important. I'm just an ordinary man. But what happened to me could happen to anyone. It started the way most things do, not with a disaster, but with a suggestion. "Dad, you shouldn't be living alone anymore," my daughter Emily said over the phone one evening. "The house is too big for you now. What if something happens and no one's there to help?" I brushed it off at first. I was fine. Sure, my back ached in the mornings and the winters got a little colder every year, but I still mowed the lawn, cooked my own meals, and made it to church on Sundays. But she kept bringing it up, gently, with concern. And eventually, it began to sound comforting. "We've got the guest suite," she said. "It's private. You'll have your own bathroom, and the kids will love having you here." There was a pause. Then she added, softly, "It'll be good for all of us." And maybe I was lonely. Maybe I was tired. Maybe I miss hearing laughter in the house. So I said yes. I sold the home my wife and I had lived in for 39 years. I packed away her dresses, the dishes she loved, the rocking chair she always read in. I gave away half the furniture, boxed the rest, and told myself it was just a new chapter. That families belong together. The sale brought in $210,000. More money than I'd had in one place in my life. Emily suggested we put it into a joint account. "It'll make things easier," she said. "We'll pay bills from there, groceries, anything you need. That way you don't have to worry." She smiled when she said it, and I trusted that smile. She's my daughter. The first blow, the financial disappearance. The first few months went by smoothly. There were Sunday breakfasts, movie nights with the kids, and the occasional "Pop, tell us another story about when you were young." It felt right. But money moves quietly when no one's watching. At first, it was little things. A new mattress for my room. A water heater that needed replacing. "We'll just use the joint account, Dad. That's what it's there for." Then it was a vacation. "You deserve this. We all need a break." Then came the school fees. A new car. A kitchen remodel. A loan for Paul's. That's my son-in-law. Side business that was guaranteed to flip in 6 months. I didn't keep track. I didn't ask for receipts. Every time I hesitated, Emily would smile and say, "It's just money, Dad. You're safe with us." I believed her. Then one day, I went to the bank to withdraw a little cash for a friend's birthday gift. The teller glanced up politely and said, "I'm sorry, sir. The available balance is $326.19. I felt the world tilt just a little. I waited until we got home to ask her. She sighed. "Dad, you know how much we've been covering for you. Groceries, electricity, your prescriptions. And don't forget the new AC unit. That was $5,000. "But that was my money," I said quietly. She looked away. "Well, it's ours now. It was a joint account, remember?" And just like that, 40 years of savings disappeared without a sound. I didn't get angry. I didn't yell. I just went back to my room, sat on the edge of the bed, and stared at the carpet until the light faded. A quiet regret. You'd be surprised how shame works at 72. You don't shout or slam doors. You fold inward. You start saying, "No, I'm fine," when you're anything but. You stop calling your friends. You stop asking for things. You try to make yourself smaller, so no one notices a crack that's widening inside you. I started clipping coupons again, even though I had no income. I stopped going to the barber and cut my own hair in the mirror with shaking hands. I skipped a medication refill because I didn't want to ask. It wasn't just the money, it was the loss of control. The fact that every dollar I had earned over a lifetime, every repair, every saved penny, was now just gone, and I had no say in it. And I couldn't undo it, because I had signed the papers. I had agreed. I had trusted. and there's no refund on trust. The second blow, the quiet death of independence. I didn't notice it at first. That's the tricky thing about losing your independence. It doesn't happen in one dramatic moment. It creeps in softly through the cracks. Back in my own home, I had routines. I woke up at 6:30, stretched on the back porch, made coffee the way Helen used to, black, 2 sugars. I'd read the paper in peace, walk to the market twice a week, call my neighbor Jerry to play chess on Sundays. No one told me what to do or when to do it. I made my own life. But in Emily's house, well, things worked differently. At first, it was subtle. Dad, don't go outside so early. The sprinklers come on and you'll slip. So I stopped my morning stretches. Dad, the kids are asleep. Could you wait a bit before making coffee? So I tiptoed around the kitchen, then just skipped it. Dad, if you want to go anywhere, just let us know first. We'll take you. So I waited, and eventually stopped asking. I started feeling like I had to check in before doing the simplest things. Wanted to bake a pie one afternoon. Realized all the pans were in storage. Turned on the radio once while shaving. Got a knock on the door. Dad, can you keep it down? No one was trying to be cruel. They were just living their lives. And I had become a piece of furniture in the corner. Quiet, unmoving. My world shrank from a full house and garden to 4 beige walls and a window facing the neighbor's fence. I stopped waking up early. What was the point? I stopped reading the paper. It just made me miss the life I used to lead. I even stopped going to church. We can stream it online, Emily said. No need to get all dressed up. I used to get dressed for myself. Now I wore sweatpants most days. Didn't shave as often. Barely left the room. And the most terrifying part? I got used to it. That's what scared me most. Not the fact that I had lost my independence, but the fact that I had started to forget what it felt like. The third blow, the cracks in the heart of family. Before I moved in, Emily and I had the kind of relationship most fathers only dream of. We talked nearly every day. She called for advice, for recipes, just to hear my voice. She made me feel needed, valued, respected. But something shifted after I became a daily presence in her home. At first, I thought it was just the stress of adjusting. The kids were noisy. Paul worked long hours, and I was trying not to step on anyone's toes. But the warmth between us began to fade. The first time I noticed, it was over the thermostat. I was cold. Simple as that. I turned it up to 72. A few hours later, it was back to 68. When I asked, she said, "Dad, we can't afford to run the heat all day just for you." That word, just for you, cut deeper than she realized. Another day, I offered to pick up the kid from school. I had found a local bus schedule. Emily frowned. "It's okay, Dad. We've got it. I don't want you getting lost or confused." Confused? I'd been driving longer than she'd been alive. I laughed it off. But that night, I sat on the edge of the bed for a long time. Eventually, we stopped talking the way we used to. Conversations became short, rushed, like she had a million things on her mind, and none of them included me. The grandkids, once excited to see Grandpa, now rolled their eyes when I reminded them to use please and thank you. One of them called me grumpy when I asked them to turn the volume down on a video game. Paul began spending more time at the office. Even the dog, who used to sleep near my door, stopped showing up. And me, I began closing my door more often, pretending to nap so I wouldn't be invited to dinner, staying in my room just to avoid the weight in the air. I became a presence in the house, not a person. Then one night, I overheard a conversation. Emily and Paul talking in the kitchen. The door was cracked open just enough. "I love him," she said, "but I feel like I'm suffocating. I didn't expect it to be like this." Paul didn't say anything for a while. Then he said, "Maybe he just needs more structure, or somewhere else to go during the day." She sighed. "I don't know. It's like he's always there." I laid in bed for hours that night, staring at the ceiling, wondering how long it had been since someone truly wanted me in their life. Not out of duty, but out of joy. I moved in thinking I was preserving something precious. But what I didn't realize is that closeness without boundaries doesn't bring people together. It pushes them apart. Love doesn't survive under constant tension. Respect erodes under silence. Even the strongest bonds begin to fray when roles become blurred, when parents become burdens, when homes become prisons. And once a relationship starts to sour in that way, it's almost impossible to get it back. The fourth blow, my body faded before my eyes. I used to be healthy, not perfect, but steady. I walked every day, ate at the same time, took my meds without reminders. I even kept a little notebook to track my blood pressure. But that life required space, rhythm, control. And when I lost those things, my body followed. At Emily's house, the mornings were chaos. Kids running, cereal on the floor, someone always late. By the time I made it to the kitchen, coffee was cold and the toaster was already unplugged. I stopped eating breakfast. I stopped walking too. Emily didn't like me going out alone. "What if you fall?" she said. I used to stretch in the garden. Now I stretch my legs by pacing in the hallway when no one was home. Lunch was often skipped. Dinner was too late for my meds. I started taking pills on an empty stomach. My hands shook more. My knees hurt from all the sitting. My blood pressure crept up, and I didn't even notice. Sleep became fragmented. I'd wake up at 2 a.m. to footsteps above, or the baby crying down the hall. The house was never still. The walls felt thinner every night. And then the anxiety started. At first, it was small, a flutter in the chest, a short breath. Then came the racing heart, the shaking hands. One night, I thought I was having a heart attack. Turned out it was a panic episode. The doctor at the ER looked at me gently and asked, "Have there been any major changes in your environment?" I nodded. I live with my daughter now. He nodded back like he'd heard it before. "You're not sick," he said. "You're overwhelmed. You've lost your structure. Your system can't catch up." That sentence has echoed in my head ever since. My body didn't fail because of age. It failed because I surrendered the very things that kept it functioning. By trying to make things easier for everyone else, I made my own life unlivable. The final blow, signed away without knowing, after that hospital visit. Things got serious. Paul, my son-in-law, sat me down at the dining table. He had a folder and a soft tone. "Dad, we should talk about your legal stuff," he said. "You know, just in case something happens. It'll be safer if Emily has power of attorney. And it'll help if we put the house and any remaining assets in her name. For tax reasons. You trust us, right?" I did. So I signed. No lawyer. No review. No questions. Because I didn't want to cause friction. I didn't want them to think I was ungrateful. I just wanted peace. But peace doesn't come from silence. It comes from clarity. After that, decisions started happening without me. The old property I still owned in the mountains, remortgaged in Emily's name to unlock some value, they said. My car, sold. My storage unit, emptied. My wife's things donated or lost. When I tried to ask questions, the answers were short. "It's done, Dad." Or, "You gave us permission." And they weren't wrong. But I hadn't understood what I was giving up. Eventually, I told Emily I was thinking about moving into a small senior apartment nearby. She didn't speak for a full 10 seconds. Then, she said coldly, "We've sacrificed so much for you, and now you want to leave?" That was the moment I realized I wasn't just unwanted. I was owned. Everything in my name was gone, and I had nowhere to go, because everything I had earned, protected, and built now belonged to someone else. And the worst part, they didn't even seem to realize what they had taken. The quiet exit and a return to myself. I left in the fall. I packed one bag, called a taxi, left a note that said simply, "I love you all, but I need to be me again." I moved into a small unit in a senior complex about 20 minutes away. No big house, no noise, just a clean space, a warm window, and a quiet place to start again. It's not perfect. I don't have the same savings I once had. I don't see my grandchildren every week. But I have something I lost for a long time. Myself. I cook my own meals. I walk when I want. I turn the radio up if I feel like it. I take naps at noon. I read books again. I even join a weekly game night. And some mornings, I look in the mirror and recognize the man staring back. He's older now. He's lost things, but he's standing tall again. Final words, if you're listening. So if you're still watching and you're thinking about moving in with your kids, I want you to hear this clearly, not from a lawyer or a doctor or a brochure, but from someone who's lived it. Love and trust are not enough. Not when finances are involved. Not when routines are broken. Not when boundaries are blurred. Here's what I wish I had done differently. Kept my own space, even a small one. Kept my finances separate, no joint accounts. Got legal advice before signing anything. Hired help, if needed, instead of giving up everything for care. Visited my children often, but returned to a place that was mine. Because home is more than a roof. It's where you feel safe, seen, heard, free. And without that, you don't just lose comfort. You lose yourself. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. And remember to turn on the notification bell to see other useful content. See you in the next video.